Welcome back to Capital Update. I'm Matt Swenson. This is State Representative Bev Scalze. Welcome back, Bev.
Nice to be here, Matt.
Yeah, you bet. And I know that you folks have been real focused on getting Minnesotans back to work this session. We're looking at 220,000 Minnesotans out of work right now. It's very important to create as many jobs as possible here at the Capitol. And I know that you've played a big role in doing that work. I know you serve on the bonding committee, yes, and you also serve on the Small Business Caucus, two groups of legislators that are really working to put Minnesotans back on the job.
Absolutely. It's a time that we've never seen before since the Great Depression, and people are out of work. And when you think how this mushrooms and keeps going for their, they're losing their homes, they're losing their health care. So government really, we really have to step in. And we did the Small Business Caucus. I was one of the members of that, and it was a really good caucus because we would get people in from all over the state that would come and tell us their stories, what we could do to help them. And we did produce some quite good legislation with the Department of Economic Development. And so I think we've done some good work with that caucus. Now on the Capital Investment Committee, I'm the vice chair, and so we started actually last fall. We toured a lot of sites, and most of that bill is renovations and repair to our college campuses and our state buildings. So there's lots of jobs right there that can go immediately. And so what we found, it's kind of interesting because when we were touring the state, we discovered that there were some historic buildings in our state that people were not using, or in the case of Agua Ching up in Walker, we discovered that they had bulldozed every building there. And in my mind, they were historic buildings, but they were all gone because we don't service disabled people like we used to in large campuses like that. But so we put together a second jobs bill, and one of the parts of that bill is to have a tax credit for someone who wants to restore a historic building. Rather than demolish our historic buildings, we can restore them, leave a sense of history for our people in the state, which we sometimes miss in America. If you go to Europe, you see all these old buildings, and rather than build new, they restore their old buildings. And I think what we've done here with this tax credit, it matches a federal tax credit, and it would give somebody just a little bit of a boost so that they would be more ready and more able to take care of a historic building, because that's very expensive to do that. And then we also had a tax credit for research and development and the angel investor tax credit. We found ourselves surrounded by states like Wisconsin has an angel investor tax credit. That gives a tax credit to people who are willing to put their private funds into a startup company. And we started to lose a few companies to Wisconsin, and we don't like to do that. So right away we thought we do want to have an angel investor tax credit. And as well for research and development, because we need that. We have such a great medical industry in Minnesota, medical products, St. Jude Medical, Medtronics. And St. Jude Medical is in my district, so I'm quite familiar with that. And those are good paying jobs. And I think that people in a startup company need a little bit of a help. So if somebody has the funds and are able to do it, they can get an angel investor tax credit. And that would be great for these startup companies.
And I know another part of that second jobs bill was an expansion of the research and development credit. I know that you heard from small business owners across the state that they would like access to a credit like that. And previously, the research and development credit was only available for corporations. You changed that so small businesses can now take advantage of it as well.
Yes, and it's so important because the backbone, in my opinion, of our whole system is the small businesses, because they're the small 1-2 offices, maybe up to 5 or 10. I think the definition is 20 or fewer, but we have the great majority of those small businesses are between 5 and 10 employees. And I own and operate a small business myself, so I'm quite aware of how hard it is to provide health insurance for employees and all those other things that you think about in a small business, and I can bring that to the table, and I do all the time. So it's something that I can share with other people.
Well, great. I know you're doing so much great work here at the State Capitol. Thank you for all your good work, Representative, and thanks for tuning in at home. We'll see you next time on Capital Update.